President Trump and Secretary of State Rex Tillerson naming North Korea a state sponsor of terrorism. President Trump arguing the Obama administration enabled Pyongyang's aggression, leading to the eventual death of American student Otto Warmbier and the assassination of leader Kim Jong-un's half-brother.
Today, the United States is designating North Korea as a state sponsor of terrorism. Should have happened a long time ago, should have happened years ago.
Critics denouncing the move as a needless provocation of the Hermit Kingdom. Some of those critics came from within the State Department, where there was apparently resistance to renaming North Korea a state sponsor of terror. Fox News contributor and former UN Ambassador John Bolton joins us live. Ambassador, good to have you with us tonight.
Glad to be with you.
What are these internal deliberations like? Because I know back in 2008, you didn't think they should come off the list.
Right. Look, in this instance, the State Department's kind of like a stuck record. They took North Korea off the list in 2008 to help induce North Korea to honor its commitments to denuclearize, commitments North Korea has made repeatedly over the past 25 years and repeatedly violated. So today, when somebody says, look, they were a terrorist state in 2008, they shouldn't have come off, we're going to put them back on for subsequent terrorist actions, the State Department can't handle it. And that's a real cultural problem, and it's not going to be solved simply by reorganization. I've said you need a cultural revolution at the State Department.
I want to play a little bit of what the Secretary of State had to say today about this decision.
It is very symbolic on the one hand because it just points out again what a rogue regime this is and how brutal this regime is and how little they care for the value of human life. The practical effects may be limited, but hopefully we're closing off a few loopholes with this.
Okay, so he referred to it as symbolic. He said the practical impact may be limited. So what are the practical impacts of putting someone back on this list?
Well, it does authorize additional sanctions, but I think it was a huge mistake for the Bush administration in 2008 to take them off as a political inducement for the nuclear negotiations. If this list is to mean anything, it means you have to be objective. If a state meets the qualifications to be a state sponsor of terrorism, you put it on the list whether you want to negotiate with them or not, and let their behavior change, not ours. So I think to say to the rest of the world, this is a terrorist regime, and therefore we don't believe them when they make commitments, as they've repeatedly demonstrated for 25 years, to denuclearize, because they're not going to do it.
Okay, so I know that you think that the president is missing an opportunity because a lot of the top positions at the State Department are not filled, and in many cases there's not even a nominee for these positions. We have some of these numbers. Our crack research team broke this down for us. 96, the number of unfilled positions. These are top positions. 73, there's not even a nominee. There's only 2 awaiting nomination and 21 awaiting confirmation. 1 has failed. We know that a lot of the people that are there then are still holdovers from the last administration. Here's what the president has said about the pressure to fill those positions.
Let me tell you, the one that matters is me. I'm the only one that matters, because when it comes to it, that's what the policy is going to be.
All right, so how much does it matter that he get his senior position people filled?
Well, I think it matters a lot. Obviously, the president makes all the most serious decisions, but every day at the State Department and every other government department, dozens, hundreds of decisions are being made at lower levels that affect and constrain his options when big decisions finally get to him. I'll just speak from all my years in the bureaucracy. If a president doesn't push his nominees down as far as he can to the assistant secretary level, the deputy assistant secretary level, it's very hard to get control of a large bureaucracy, especially one that's culturally hostile to a conservative Republican point of view. So there are maybe 200 or 300 significant political appointments at the State Department. The total staff of the State Department worldwide is 70,000. So you're not saving a lot of money by not putting these top people in, and what happens is their positions are filled on an acting basis by career people. And what have the career people been doing the last 8 years? Following Obama administration policies. That you don't have to believe in conspiracy theories, you just have to believe in human nature, that somebody's going to continue the policies they've been following until somebody else tells them to change.
And quickly, Secretary Tillerson has downplayed any talk of a rift between these two, or that they're not on the same page. What's your sense of the relationship?
Well, I think it's always difficult when you have people who come from very different backgrounds, neither one of whom has been in the government before. But I do think it's critical in the national security area that everybody speak with one voice, and that means the interagency process, a boring phrase but a critical process, has to work. And I don't think it has worked as well as it needs to in a threatening environment such as we live in internationally today.
It is no joke on multiple fronts. Ambassador, great to have you with us.
Glad to be here.
Thanks for coming in.